Welcome, Bible scholars. We have a special guest with us today at Faith Lutheran. We are so excited that you are here. And I have asked my students, I teach ninth grade. I have over 150 questions. We're not going to get to all of them today, but they're very interested about what you are doing at Faith Lutheran as CEO. So could you introduce yourself to us a little bit and tell us, what does it mean that you are a president CEO?
Yeah, so my name is Mychal Thom. Originally, I grew up in Monroe, Michigan. I have seven brothers and sisters. So there's eight kids in the family. And then my mom and dad. I'm adopted along with six of my brothers and sisters as well. And so, yeah, I'm at Faith Lutheran, president and CEO. What does that mean? That's a really good question. Basically, CEO means Chief Executive Officer. So it's really my job to make sure that everything that we do here runs as smoothly as possible, that we're making sure that we're high academic program, making sure that we're present in the community, that we're doing what we're saying we're doing as far as our mission is concerned, making sure we're financially stable. Now, certainly I delegate a lot of those responsibilities to very able and capable people. But really my job is that everything here goes as smoothly as possible is the best way that I can say it.
That's so fun. And so with that, with the vision and like the goals of Faith Lutheran, some of my students had some questions about what is your dream for Faith Lutheran, or what are some plans that you have, or do you have any plans yet that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I've been here about 4 weeks, but have been thinking about Faith Lutheran for probably little less than a year now between the time that I was asked to interview and be on campus here for a little while and start thinking about it. So I guess dream wise, overall, my dream would be that everyone that comes in contact with Faith Lutheran would just have an extraordinary experience where they feel loved, not only by the people here, but certainly by Jesus, that they would know him and that they would strive to reach the fullest capacity that they can reach, that they're involved in those things that give them joy, whether it's extracurricular things, academic things, whatever it might be, but truly that they have an extraordinary experience, and that no matter what happens in their life, they always feel like Faith Lutheran is a part of their home. As far as plans for me, initial plans are really to just try to get to know as many people as I possibly can. Faculty, staff, students, people in the community, those people that have served here for a long time, those people that have supported Faith Lutheran for a long time, and those people that are new like me, to be able to, and everybody in between, but to get to know people and to be able to really capture the culture and essence of Faith Lutheran, I think is one of my very first and initial plans. I've been doing that the last couple of weeks. I've really enjoyed it. But that'll continue on into the next couple of months. And then as we work with the board of directors, should say that's another part of my job is to work with our board of directors to start developing a strategic plan. What does Faith Lutheran look like in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years? What do our academic programs look like? Obviously, we're building a new building right now. What other facility improvements might we make into the future? And so those are the things that I really love thinking about, and that's what I'll be doing over the next few months.
Ah, that sounds like that's a big responsibility, a lot of things in motion. Speaking about jobs, a lot of students, I had 17 students ask questions that were about like, what previous experience do you have for school? Like, do you have teaching experience, or what were you doing before you came to Faith Lutheran that you think will help you in your position now?
Yeah, great question. So I began administrating schools in 2004. So I've been a teacher and a coach at a couple of different schools. I went to college and got my degree in biology. And so I love to teach biology. So I've done that at a couple of different places. I've coached soccer, basketball, and track. I've coached football, coached a lot of different sports as well. So that's part of my background. But as a principal and administrator, I've been doing that work since about 2007. So I did it at a pre-K to 8 Lutheran school in Michigan, at a 9 through 12 high school in Houston, Texas. Also as principal, and then had a school at a 9 through 12 school in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then after that, I went to Concordia University in St. Paul, Minnesota. And so there, I was a teacher, I was an administrator, a dean of a college. chief diversity officer, assistant to the president. So I did quite a few things there. Learned a lot in my top 5 years at Concordia University St. Paul. So I feel like I have a lot of experience in schools and leading schools and teaching students in schools that have led up to this point of being the president and CEO at Faith Lutheran. And so I would say probably the best experiences I've had is just serving alongside people that truly love to serve in schools where Christ is at the center, and truly love to serve in schools where we're really trying to create a great experience and prepare students for whatever it is that they encounter in life. So it's been a lot of fun for me. I've really enjoyed it.
It's so fun that you mentioned Concordia St. Paul because my dad actually went to Concordia St. Paul, and a lot of our students they hear the word Concordia. So many of their teachers have come from this, and I always tell the students, if you like Faith Lutheran, you'll probably like a Concordia because it's got similar vibes. But that kind of goes with another question. When you were thinking about coming here, what was attracting you about Faith Lutheran as far as being like a Lutheran school and part of this bigger kind of network that we have in the Lutheran Church? What was it about Faith Lutheran that you were like, oh, I think that would be a good fit for me?
Yeah. So I've always kind of thought of Faith Lutheran like coming from afar. So growing up in Michigan, leading schools in Texas and in Indiana, and then also in Minnesota, I've always kind of been really intrigued by Faith Lutheran, its start, and then how it's grown so much. And so I really just kind of wanted the opportunity to be able to lead a place that has some complexity to it. I got quite a few students, sixth grade through 12th grade, quite a few faculty and staff, quite a few connections within the community, and that complexity, being able to lead a place that is so complex and yet carries a pretty simple message in that, Jesus loves you and he came to live and die for you and rise again so we could have life eternal. Being able to have the complexity of running an operation that is as complex as Faith Lutheran with a very simple, real message of what we're trying to get across is was really attractive to me. So many great things about Faith Lutheran that I've been able to learn about, not only prior to coming here, but since I've been here. And that's really what attracted me the most, to be able to put my name in, to interview for this role, and to be able to be called to do it. Been a real blessing for me.
Hmm, cool. Thinking about background and previous jobs, there's quite a few questions I have from students who kind of want to know what your life was like, maybe when you were their age, maybe say ninth grade. What was school like, and what was your experience like as a ninth grader? Would that have been in Michigan when you were in ninth grade?
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you liked about being in ninth grade?
I love that question. So I was in ninth grade. I went to St. Mary Catholic Central High School in Monroe, Michigan. So the town I grew up in Monroe, at the time didn't have a Lutheran high school. There was the public school option and the Catholic school option, and my parents really supported us and wanted us to have a faith-based education. So I went to the Catholic school, and in ninth grade, oh man, it was. To be honest, I really loved school, like, I enjoyed learning, and I really loved sports, and so I was on the soccer team, kinda half JV, half varsity. I was on the basketball team, played JV basketball as a freshman, and basketball was my favorite sport. And then I ran track on the varsity team as a freshman, and so sports were a big part of my life, and then, kinda like you, I'm sure, friends. I just enjoyed being around my friends and meeting new people and getting to know people and kind of just hanging out, and so it was we didn't have cell phones and that sort of thing to stay connected, but we'd hang out at different events, and I loved going to the football games. I loved going to the basketball games, the varsity games after I got done playing, and I just enjoyed being a part of this of the school, going to dances and being a part of the social aspect of the school. And so that was really what life was like for me. I studied hard. I played as many sports as I possibly could, and went to as many social events as I could as well, just to get to know people and make new friends.
That's fun. And you mentioned it was a Catholic school. Is your background Lutheran, or what is your like growing up experience for your faith?
Yeah, I've been Lutheran my entire life. Went to Trinity Lutheran in Monroe, Michigan, since kindergarten through eighth grade. Then, yeah, it's been Lutheran my whole life, and it was interesting going to a Catholic high school, being Lutheran. I would say that those 4 years of school experience for me, going to a Catholic high school, really kind of helped me really understand why I was Lutheran, and really kind of cemented in me the beliefs that I had. And that was a really important time there from my high school years. And yeah, so my faith background has always been Lutheran.
Well, that brings us to our next set of questions, which I thought were so like, I didn't even ask the students to do this, but I had 10 students who have kind of spiritual questions here. What's your favorite Bible verse?
Oh goodness. Probably from Luke chapter 11 says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I think that throughout my life, I was adopted at a really young age, 5 months old. I didn't choose any of that. God really directed that in my life. He put me in a family that I couldn't even ask for anything better. My parents adopted, like I said, adopted 6 of us. Had 2 children of their own before they started adopting. I also had about 25 foster children through our home when I was growing up. And we weren't rich. We didn't have, a big house, this and that, but man, we had everything we needed, love and support, opportunities. And I just really feel like God has given me so much in my life, and that being able to respond in a way to give back to others and to serve other people in a way that other people have poured into me. So that verse really kind of sits with me a lot. And then, as I just go around and visit schools and visit families and visit students, like, we have so much to be thankful for, and how do we then return that? Not earning, our salvation or anything like that, but living in such a way of joy and gratitude for what God has given us. And so that verse probably is one that sits with me quite a bit.
It reminds me, in Faith when we talk about vocation and that some of the vocations we choose for ourselves, but some vocations are given to us, like being someone who was adopted and then realizing the gifts that God has given you through that experience and probably some challenges too. That's great. A lot of these questions I'm going to kind of morph into. I'm going to kind of let you figure out how you'd like to answer it. But they're curious about your relationship with Jesus, or if you've had an experience that changed your life or had an impact or about your personal faith. Is there any like moment that you can think that you were like, I really see this relationship with Jesus in a clear way or in a powerful way?
Yeah. You know, there's so many, but I'll probably pick out 2 or 3 that I think are really important, have made a huge impact on my life. The first one is when I got to be 18 years old, and so, senior in high school, the adoption was open, which meant that I had the opportunity when I turned 18 to meet my biological mother if I wanted to, biological father if I wanted to. And so, but I was the first one in my family to be able to do that. So one of my older sisters was also adopted, but she didn't have the opportunity to meet her biological parents. And so I really, when I had the opportunity to meet my biological mother, my biological father had passed away. It turned out before I had the opportunity to meet my biological mother, and just getting a chance to meet her and talk with her. And when she decided to give me up for adoption, she had just one request. I'm biracial. My biological mother is white, Hungarian descent. My biological father, African American, and so I'm biracial. And when she gave me up for adoption, she didn't really care what family I went to from a race perspective, from an ethnic perspective. She just had one thing, and she said, "You must go to a Christian home." And that relationship that I built over time with my parents and always seeing Jesus in them was then an opportunity for me when I met her to just see how God had really directed the path for me, and being able to be in a family that was so loving, a family that was so generous, family that just poured into me and gave me a ton of different opportunities. That was really a moment mirror. I was like, we talk about, Jesus loves you, he cares for you, and that's it, but truly, right? Truly, I felt like Jesus really, really knew me and knew the family that he had selected for me probably before I was even born, and that was really cool. So that was one of them. I would say a second one was when my each of my 3 boys were born. So I have 3 sons, and it's hard to define unconditional love until you have, for me anyways, it's hard to define that. You have the love of relationship and so on and so forth, but love of, being a child of somebody else. But when I have my own children, and you just look at that son or that daughter, and you go, there is nothing that this son or daughter could do that could take my love away from them. And I think that really, the love that Jesus has for me, that really helped make it real to me. Like, oh, now I get it in a different way. Because all of the things that my parents did for me, all the things, brothers and sisters, everything like that. But then I got to feel like this is the love Jesus has for me, that there's literally nothing, Romans talks about it. There's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. And it was hard for me to understand that until, I'm holding my own child, and going, oh, okay, now I get it. So that kind of jumped out to me as well. Obviously, when I got married to my wife, Lauren, and Lauren is, we just have a tremendously loving relationship as well. And then I would say that the third thing, as far as moments that my relationship with God, relationship specifically with Jesus, is in the course of my administrative career. We've had some situations where we've had, challenges, traumatic experiences where we've had, student deaths, or we've had student injuries that were severe. And in those times when it truly seems like, man, I don't know, what else to do. Where do you turn to? How do you do that? You just feel Jesus's presence in your heart, knowing that it's going to be okay, knowing that he is going to be with you beyond the shadow of a doubt. And it's in those kind of challenging times that really solidifies, and strengthens my faith. So I would say those are a couple of them that have, maybe a little bit insight into my faith walk.
Yeah, in faith class we talk about those relationships, those vocations that we have with our loved ones, and in our different relationships. And then we also talk about adversity, that like when we're going through struggles, a lot of times we really get to feel the comforting presence of God when we're going through those struggles. So yeah, those are
Yes.
powerful times when we can,
Yeah.
kind of have that connection with God, and our faith is, we're able to see this gift that God has given us in a more clear way.
Yeah, it's truly that, the verse talks about a peace that passes all understanding.
Yes.
And until you don't understand, like truly don't understand something, and then you feel that peace that Christ gives you, it makes it even more real.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's just mix it up a little bit. I'm going to do some rapid fire here because we've got
All
some
right.
just kind of fun, random questions. First question: how tall are you?
6'5".
6'5", not 6'7", huh? I was kind of pulling for 6'7". So 6'5". What is your favorite animal?
Oh, bottlenose dolphin
Oh,
is
really?
number one. Yeah, number one. I grew up thinking I was going to be a marine biologist.
Oh, because you like
I
biology.
love biology. I love the water. So, yeah, so I thought I was going to be a marine biologist. So, bottlenose dolphin is my favorite animal. My second favorite animal is an orca, killer whales.
Okay. All right. Very good. Do you have a favorite color?
Do I have a favorite color? I love the color aquamarine, like when you're looking at the ocean and sort of that bluish green color. Oh man, it's just that's my favorite color. Yeah.
What about a favorite food?
Favorite food, chicken parmesan. We gotta go with
Really?
chicken parm. Yeah, I love. I just it's my favorite.
Okay, okay. What's your NFL team?
Oh, the Detroit Lions.
Oh, the Lions.
Yeah,
Now,
I
have
know.
they won for a while yet? Are they still waiting to
They're still one of the teams in the NFL that's not
'cause,
made it in the
I
Super
went to
Bowl
high
yet, right?
school way back in the '90s, and I think they were good in the '90s?
They have Barry Sanders.
Right.
I actually got a chance to meet Barry Sanders. Like,
Really?
that was fun. Yeah, when I played basketball in college, and after I was done playing, I still stayed there to get my master's degree. And Barry Sanders used to come to play intramural basketball with us.
You're kidding.
No, and so I got a chance to meet him. And actually, funny story. I had a chance to, so I got to know him a little bit because we were playing basketball like every week. And my Lauren, who's my wife now, we were dating, and just after I graduated college, and sure enough, I'm in the grocery store and she's with me, and walking up behind me is Barry Sanders. He taps me on the shoulder and I turn around. I'm like, oh, Barry. And we're talking for a little bit. And, most everyone in Michigan knows Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
So she's looking at me like, Barry Sanders. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about know him, but know him enough to recognize him and him recognize me. So that was kind of cool.
That
So
is amazing.
yeah,
That
so the
is
Lions have been a
amazing.
lot better lately. We've had some rough
Yeah.
seasons.
What's your favorite thing to do in free time?
Oh, I love hanging out with my family. I would say in free time, like traveling with them, vacation with them. If we have an extended period of time, just going and experiencing life with them outside of school and work and all those kind of things. Just because they see things, they bring a certain joy to my life, a certain perspective. That's helpful. So I love traveling with them. I love hanging out with them. If it's not with my family, I love to play golf. So and basketball.
Golf and basketball.
Yeah.
So now we gotta get serious because the kids are very worried about this. I've heard the murmuring. They say the new CEO, he's gonna change the school and we're gonna have all these new rules. So what's the new rules that like, is that part of your job? What rules are you just can't wait to stick the kids with these rules?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about school on Saturdays.
Can you imagine?
I think
Try the
that
teachers. I
the
don't think
what could be better? Faith 6 days a week, man. What could be better than that?
Mhm, mm.
My job really is to support the principals and what they see best fit for the academic progress and overall, whole child nurturing of our students and their families. And so I don't come in with a lot of rules and we're going to do this and not do that, but really try to be supportive, and try to help us think to the future. So my youngest son will be a seventh grader here at Faith Lutheran next year, and he's the class of 2032. And so I really do spend a lot of time thinking about, what are our students going to be experiencing when they leave Faith Lutheran, when they graduate from here, and so how do we best prepare them for life after this place? And so the day to day kind of what are the rules now, what are this, that, and everything else? Those things, best left to the principals and their teams that do a good job. My job is to support them, and then also to help us look down the road to the future. So I don't come with a bag full of rules or a list of things that we're gonna do or not do. I'm still thinking about that Saturday school though. What could be better? What could be better?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's a lot. Okay. I have a student, and I think this is we have so many students with varied interests, and I think this student I love this question. Does Mr. Thom plan on making any major changes to the fine arts at Faith Lutheran? Because we have a lot of athletes and we have a lot of
Mm,
students doing different things in fine arts. And I know that you're not going to go in and tell us what the plays are going to be or anything. But how do you support what's happening in this big atmosphere at Faith Lutheran, like the fine arts and some of these things? Like that, we have a aviation, and we're going to be having these. Is it pro tech kind of
yep. Yeah.
vocational kinds of things happening? What gets you excited about some of these programs?
One of my greatest joys in serving in schools is being able to see students and the way that they engage outside of the classroom. So I love watching students learn, that's for sure, but I love to see how they engage outside of the classroom. And so supporting, I can't wait to see Wonderland coming up in a couple of weeks. Concerts, music, choir and instrumental and orchestra and handbells and all those kinds of things that help students, continue to have an experience here. So as far as changing things go, I don't see anything like that, because what I want to make sure is that students have the opportunity to engage in as much as they possibly can. It's so important to be a part of those things and to continue to try to search for those things that God has wired you for. And that's great. I'll give you an example. My middle son Isaiah, basketball player, football player, and this year as a senior, he decided to go out for the spring musical and he got a part. And so I just love the fact that, students can get a chance to explore and try different things, because you never quite know what it is that's really gonna sink into your heart. So I would say this, as far as I'm concerned, I would love the opportunity for students to be able to engage in it as much as possible. And the less restrictions we have on that, the better. And the more opportunities that students take advantage of, the better. One of the things I know in earlier questions about what attracted Faith Lutheran, I mentioned some of the complexity of it, but just the opportunity that there's always something going on. You always get a chance to see students doing something that they enjoy, whether that's in the fine arts or athletics or whatever it might be. Robotics could be a number of different things that really kind of creates and helps create the life of the school. And I really enjoy that.
Awesome. Before we close, we have a lot of questions about how excited the students are and how excited you are. There's a couple notes, and I've had a couple students wondering, have you heard about our opening closing chapel? Because Dr. Book has a tradition of singing this song and being excited. What are you excited for?
Yeah. I have fun every day. Number one, I mean, I just enjoy being around people to work alongside. Students could see them, kind of shuffle through, walk through the hallways and try to engage them as much as I can. Closing chapels, I have heard a little bit about what happens. I'm still learning about some of the traditions and things that happen. So we'll have fun. That's for sure. That's for sure. There's no question about that. And what things, remain and what potential new traditions arise. That'll be remain to be seen. But I honestly, I'm just really excited that I get to get up every day, come to a place that intentionally serves students in a Christ centered way, and intentionally wants to introduce people and help people get closer to Jesus. And that to me is a great gift, and it allows me to use the talents and abilities God's given me to share with those around me, and to see how others share their talents and abilities with those around them. And when those things happen, man, it's what a great environment, great culture that is. So I have fun every day, and hopefully all of the students do as well. I'm sure things go up and down sometimes, but hopefully the majority of the experience can say, well, that was a great time. I felt like I was loved there. I felt like I was known there, and I can't wait to come back someday.
That's fun. Well, we asked you a ton of questions. As the freshmen are watching this video and as they see you in the hall, do you have any questions that they might be able to answer for you? Or if they see you in the hall, should they say hi? What would you like to see from our ninth graders?
Yeah, please say hello. Please say hello. Please ask me anything that you want about anything. I would love to engage with people. So, one, I guess I'm kind of tall, and people are like, oh, is he scary? I'm not scary at all. But ask me whatever question you want. What I would love to know is, what's the best thing about ninth grade here? What do you enjoy about it? If you were in my position as CEO, what's the first thing you would do here at the school? What are some, doesn't have to be a change. It could be something to say, hey, don't change this. Keep this. We really love this. So sometimes when we get asked that question, we immediately think of things that we want to change. But what are the things that we wanted to say the same as well, that really kind of edify and strengthen your experience? So I hope that when I see you in the hallways, you say hello, we can talk for a little bit, engage, and I can hear what is the best thing about ninth grade, and what would you do if you were president and CEO of Faith Lutheran Middle School and High School?
Isn't it fun to think that these ninth graders, maybe some of them might be teachers someday, or administrators, or principals, or track coaches? I love the idea of inviting our ninth graders to think about teaching as a vocation, or maybe being a pastor, lay minister, or,
Mm.
so many different ways of in our vocations, even just in regular, non-church vocations where we're serving God by helping others. And that's what we love to do here, is kind of put those seeds in your brain that, if you like high school, maybe you might like being a high school teacher, and that could be a real big blessing. So, well, Mr. Thom, thank you so much, our new president and CEO. Thank you for coming into my classroom, and welcome to Faith Lutheran.
Thank you very much. I look forward each day to being with everybody um, here at Faith Lutheran. So thanks so much.